Mountain TV, pleased to have a special guest in the studio today. I've got George Gerchow with the X Foundation. And George, we actually recently met at TEDx Breckenridge. That was an amazing talk you gave. It's good to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you, the MC of all MCs.
Oh, thank you so much, man. And you're here for a very important reason. You're with the X Foundation. Tell me why was this foundation created?
Yeah, Adam, so unfortunately, I lost a 17-year-old son to fentanyl poisoning on March 12th of 2021. And when it occurred, I didn't even know what fentanyl was. And so my daughter and I, we were in a fetal position for about 6 months. And then we decided to build a foundation to help get the awareness out, spread the word, and help other families to never feel the way that we feel.
Yeah, and George, fentanyl, it seems to be in the news, almost every day. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, so what's happening now is distributors are taking the synthetic opioid and they're pressing pills with it. They're also cutting illicit drugs with it. So it's killing off our youth, it's killing off the population. It's the #1 cause of death in America between the ages of 18 and 45.
God, this is terrible. And tell us more about fentanyl poisoning. I'm sure people have heard of it at home, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and thank you for asking that, because this is why we believe that actually drug use is starting to go down, but deaths are on the rise. And it's because these fake pills in particular, someone thinks that they're getting an Oxycontin, someone thinks they're getting a Percocet, and in fact, it has fentanyl in it. And that's what ultimately killed my son as well, too. So we call it poisoning because I think most parents, most families, most folks out there, when they hear the word overdose, they think that's never going to happen to me. But when you think about how our society is, we're raised on taking pills,
Yeah.
right? And so it's easy for a young person to accept a pill from someone that they know or don't know, and then it's cut with fentanyl, and ultimately it costs them their lives.
Yeah. And what's happening in Summit County to help prevent these senseless tragedies? There's got to be something happening. And you were just telling me off camera, this is great stuff. Tell me more.
It's amazing stuff. So we're so lucky to be in this community, and we're part of something called SCOPE, which is Summit County Opioid Prevention and Education. And so we're distributing naloxone all over the place, Narcan all over the place. We're bringing awareness to high schools. Like we just recently did a talk at a high school, and all the credit goes to Summit County Healthcare, Amy and Annie and all the folks there. And so we're continually bringing the education to folks, but then also starting to break the stigma around this, because there is. People just think that someone dies from fentanyl poisoning, that, they were heavy drug users or whatever, and that's really not the truth. It's just about getting the word out, talking to your loved ones, and educating folks.
Yes, we need to break that stigma. Now, how can people get involved or help?
Yeah, so this is a great question as well, too. So #1 is talk to your loved ones, like we just mentioned, but then 2, also these preventative measures that are in place, like fentanyl testing strips, and then as well as Narcan, having it available at all times, because you never know when it's going to be needed to revive someone. This is so strong, Adam, that they've actually developed an antidote for it that is being released out there, but sometimes hard to come by, except for here in Summit County. We've done a great job of distributing it.
Love what you guys are doing with the X Foundation. Do you guys have a website or somewhere people can go to get more info?
Thank you so much for asking that.
Yeah.
So it's www.xfoundationx.org. www.xfoundationx.org. And the last thing I'll say too is we're taking a lot of the funds that we raise, and besides just awareness, we're investing back into the community. So sports teams, because my son was a basketball player, as well as musicians, we're always looking for ways to help the community grow, especially through athletics and music.
George, thank you so much for coming in today, and thank you for bringing this awareness to this such important topic. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me, friend.